Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your cannabis business podcast. Katrina Glogowski is an angel investor and attorney. Together, we're going to dive into pure extracts, a pitch deck, and see if it meets 7 out of the top 10 tips for a successful pitch deck that we have. 1 being identify business plan goals, then know your audience. Number 3 is understand the market, then identify needs and roadblocks. Number 5 is know what sets the business apart, and then introduce the team and product. And then finally, number 7 is create a summary.
Let's see if they make it, Josh.
Let's dive in and see it. Pure Extracts, they're a leader in extraction. This is from fourth quarter of 2019. So their mission is producing high quality extract products for recognized brands, including their own nationally recognized Pure Pulls product line. So it looks like they're a wholesale, like private label, white label.
Aggregator, yeah.
Experienced and qualified experts of Whistler, BC for extraction, formulation, and brand development.
I like that.
Yeah, clean and clear direct. So they talk about market opportunities with it shifting. Canada's cannabis industry is currently dominated by dried flower products with only an estimated 13% market share by extract products. In the US, it's 50% of the market share. That's probably because it was only legalized by maybe a week when this was printed out.
Right.
2.0. So they also have vapes and then early stage penetration with their pure extracts segment. Talk about competitive advantages. So decades of experience, established product lines, technical expertise, first mover advantages, huge amounts of, 100,000 kilograms of biomass per year. Seems like a lot.
Bulletproof methodology. Okay. All right. Glad to hear it's bulletproof.
So they do have some products here. So it looks like some tincture, vape pens, concentrate. They have a nationally recognized private label brand. They've established goodwill with repeat customers, retail distributors.
Yeah, with derivatives just going online in Canada in October, and Josh, you and I were up at Lyft in January, and the derivatives had just only trickled into the retail stores. So how do you have a nationally recognized derivative brand when it was on the market for 2 months at most?
Touche. Product development strategy, current one, phase 1 is soft gels, vape pens, tinctures. And then around June of 2020, they're going to look at edibles and topicals and oral sprays. And then finally concentrates and beverages that are going to come out way late, and some innovative products to be announced.
Well, at least they understand the growth, and to start with something easy like a soft gel and not start with the concentrates and the beverages. So that indicates some forethought there. Good on them.
Vape pens should help with the sales or lack thereof with soft gels and tinctures. Mm-hmm. So they'll balance that out. They have a business model. So it looks like they're going to extract oil, return to supplier at a fixed fee. All the way down to their pure extracts formulation expertise for edibles and soft gels, beverages.
Well, that slide was a little confusing because they've spent the previous few slides talking about their own derivative brand, Pure Pulls, mm-hmm. and now they're saying they process for somebody else and for a fee. Mm-hmm. And that's nice. In the United States, we call those splits. But here, this slide, is this a separate income stream or is this their business model? This one is a little confusing.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would call that the business model. Maybe that's just in-house production, but yeah, confusing with that part. They've got a facility where they have toll processing, private and white labeling production. I think that's pretty much the same thing. They have got some more milestones. Yeah, I think we kind of gone through those milestones already. And then finally, key management. No pictures though, but there's a little bio here, so we get to see a little bit about what they're doing.
At least you can look them up if you're really interested.
Yeah, true that. They have a cap table.
Woohoo!
That's rare.
That is very rare to see a cap table and a pitch deck. That is very, very interesting.
But this is a comparable though. These are publicly traded companies, so this isn't their cap table. This is just
Oh,
this is comparisons, and then yeah,
oh, that's a little misleading.
yeah.
Okay. So I guess they're trying to say, look at our competitors and how they did on the stock market so that you could guess or try and estimate how we would do on the stock market.
Mhm.
Wow, they should change the title of that slide too. The business model slide is confusing, and so is this one. Typically, this would be your competition slide, but they're not really talking about competition here. They're just saying these are other publicly traded companies. So again, very confusing. And you see, I fell for it. I'm like, cap
Mhm.
table, holy moly.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, comparables would be accurate. I guess they're trying to show the valuation. So their earnings are fairly low by comparison, whereas the share price is also very low. So I think they're trying to highlight the opportunity by this comparison. But that also depends on whether or not they're actually nationally recognized and they have a brand and they're able to do all these things that they want to do. So many things, so many hurdles that can get in your way, like this bill that we saw that did not make it out of committee in Washington that would have limited concentrates at 10%. If I didn't see rosin in any of this stuff, and that's foolish for any company to not have a solventless concentrate. They should have learned in 2015 from Oregon when the OLCC, the Oregon regulators, blocked that. After
right.
that, everyone should have that as a product just in case. So in summary, they've got a chart here. uh, I'm just going to skip
Okay.
that. I'm just going to skip it. All right. And then that is the end. So there is no ask, but let's see. Did they have identify the plan's goals? Look like they want to be a private white label. Does that meet our mark?
I Yes and no, because I think what they're actually doing is splits,
Mm.
and they didn't really make that very clear. I think they did identify their goal of being Canada's number one derivative brand. So
Mm.
half.
Okay. I can go with half or three quarters. Did they know the audience? Did they kind of say like who their audience was?
They did talk about a little bit of the requirements and people wanting to have a clear, clean product.
Yeah, that's an iffy one. I'm going to give them half on knowing their audience. I think they understand the market. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to private label and wholesale.
Actually, that is a great idea. Those machines are
Mhm.
expensive, 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 and you should be running them 24 hours a day. So yeah, definitely. I think that's the biggest plus in their column is that they're going to be white labeling for other people and aggregating.
Mhm.
That shows a very thorough understanding of the market. Good on them.
Yeah, you're not only outsourcing the equipment, but you're outsourcing that liability and that risk because all of that could be shut down or become obsolete if something else comes on the market. And so it's leveraging your assets for sure.
Yeah.
Did they identify needs and roadblocks?
Not really. They did identify that they already have Health Canada approvals, so that's good. I'm glad to see that. They didn't really identify the potential problems with Cannabis 2.0 rolling out in Canada with the
Mhm.
derivatives. And we've seen now, of course, this pitch deck is from 2019, but we've seen that there were some bumps in the road with the rollout, and
Mhm.
they're already talking about Cannabis 2.5
Mhm.
in Canada. So I don't think they really identified any potential hiccups or roadblocks. And they did not identify their competition.
Mhm. Well, so they did have the cap table. So they pointed out to some people that were doing things similarly and insinuating that we could do this, but we're valued a lot less. We're also earning a lot less, but there is opportunity, claiming that Next Leaf Solutions that I mentioned earlier, ticker symbol oils, that have over 40 patents, they're supposed to be one of those competitors, maybe.
Josh, we're talking about Canada. Where's Aurora? Where's Canopy?
Mm-hmm.
Where's CanTrust? No, these are all very nice, and I'm sure they're excellent companies doing very well. But you miss the elephant in the room, and they are your competitors.
$25 million pre-money valuation. That makes me giggle. Love it. All right, so we're not going to give them number 4. They did not identify needs and roadblocks, but did they say what sets their business apart? It just sounded kind of like we're a private label company, and are they any different than somebody else that could do that?
I think that they did try to do that by stating that they white label, they have their own product and they white label. So I think they touched it. They didn't explain it. They certainly didn't explain it to the satisfaction of a investor to make a decision just looking at this deck. And this brand in and of itself, again, nationally recognized brand. You're 2 months into legalization. I don't think they really met that requirement, Josh.
I would want to see some more about the best-in-class technology investment, because if you have that technology and that's what sets you apart, you do have the first mover advantages. You do have this product line, and you're going into a really high sales environment with extracts and beverages and edibles. I would just like to see what sets them apart if they're going to be private labeling. So that formulation, that research and development, that's really ultimately what differentiates your product from somebody else. And I'd like a little bit more explanation on that.
And there's no mention here of GMP certification, EU GMP certification, GDP certification. There's nothing in there about that. And if you're going to be a worldwide player to export your products overseas and out of Canada, that's going to be a requirement. Mm-hmm. So maybe they are fully certified. And that
I would have to assume that they are, but you're gonna raise the question, so you might as well answer it right off the bat, or at least at the end somewhere.
Right. They did mention their Health Canada approvals, but of course it's a different entity.
Well, they did meet number 6 was to introduce the team and products.
I'll give them that one. Full point.
And then what about creating a summary?
They had a slide called summary. That is true. Really cute little graphics. That is true. And that's about as far as they got on that one. There was no call to action. There was no real urgency, no needs. But they did have a summary slide.
So is that 4 out of 7?
I'll give them 4 out of 7.
Looks like they got 4 out of 7. So almost 60% there for pure extracts. I think there's just a couple of things they'd want to tweak or add or whatever in order to meet our 7 tips to a successful pitch deck, but they got better than half, so that's passing grade.
I will say I really like the layout of their slides. They're not too busy. They're nice and clean. Very nice layout.
Yeah, there's just some words I would have preference on, right? Like we mentioned, the business model, that the title of that is maybe not exactly your business model. It's just part of your operations there. Milestones I might put in with the other part up there. And then the cap table,
this slide is very,
I would take out cap table, or leave comparables, take out the cap table part. It's a good comp, I guess. But yeah, all in all, is laid out fairly well. This summary part isn't much of a summary.
Nice graphics.
Yeah, so there's an M&A and international growth opportunity. predictable cash flow, near-term revenue scale, nationally recognized brand, high margin growth, and a leader in extraction. So, all right, 4 out of 7 for these guys. Without an ask, would you invest? Would you ask more questions? What's your take on Pure Extracts?
I would want to know about their certifications. My own self, being in the industry and being aware to, for example, get an extract into Germany, you need all these certifications, as well as Denmark. So that's where I would start. And the EU GMP certification is very hard to find. And if Pure Extracts Lab was EU GMP certified, I would look at them just because it's not easy to find, it's not easy to get. And if you want to get into Europe, you need it. And I think Aurora is the only one that has it right now, and that's rumor. I haven't seen that in writing, but I don't think a lot of labs have it.
Well, let's say Aurora, or Canopy Growth go into Latin America and start extracting and importing 55-gallon drums of oil. What I want to know first off the bat is what's your break-even point, and are you prepared to compete with Colombia?
Well, that's part of the problem with their comparable and cap table slide. They're comparing themselves to other companies on their level, but if you're going to start making beverages, where's Coca-Cola on your slide? Oh, Coca-Cola doesn't touch CBD. Guess what? That's not true. So your competitor is Coca-Cola. Where's Coca-Cola?
Yeah, I want to know, again, most about that technology and the processing, because if they have to get the flower first and then process it, that's a lot of Canadian labor expense, right? Versus what Colombia, for example, some low-cost labor region, you got to compete with those. So all in all, I think the business sounds solid. It looks good. I just have some more questions myself, but
yeah,
time will tell.
All
right. Pure Extracts. That's our review. Appreciate it. Katrina Glogowski, she's an angel investor and attorney. Thanks for reviewing this pitch deck.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.